Welcome to Our Town here on Channel 2 on EagleCom. I am James Holland with Black & Company Realtors. I am your host. And today I have with me Amanda Collins. Good morning. And you might notice this rather large cup of coffee I have in front of me. No, this is not a Starbucks cup. This is from Amanda's Bakery and Bistro. And it's a mocha, a large mocha, which just happens to be my favorite. But anyway, yeah, we're going to visit with Amanda a little bit today about her business. And you've been a businesswoman in town and worked in town for several years. I mean, you grew up here as well. And talk a little bit about that, and then also what it means to be an entrepreneur in downtown Abilene, because I think it's really important in our communities that people support downtown, that downtown's a vibrant place and a place people are comfortable going and comfortable doing business. So Amanda, tell me a little bit about, I know you've worked in several different places here in town over the time. Tell me a little bit about how you developed your passion for what you do. And kind of your experiences leading up to opening a business.
Well, I was raised in a 4-H community. I went to Navarre Boosters, and I've been baking since I was 7 years old. And I guess I just really, really, really liked it. My mom was also a baker at Abilene High School for about 20 years. And when I got to high school, I had Barry and Meta West's catering class, and they kind of wasn't really baking all the time, but it was, everything, a combination of things. And I just really enjoyed it. And I was going to go to culinary school, but I just happened to get a scholarship to do track at K-State. So I went there and did a track there for 4 years, and I got my hotel and restaurant management degree. And then I came back home, of course. I don't know why I came home, but I always wanted to go do bigger things, but then I guess I thought maybe I would just come home because I have all my families here. I was born and raised here. So I came back, and we ran a bed and breakfast for about 11 months, and then Vanjie at the Kirby House got a hold of me and brought me in and helped me get a little bakery started, a business started over there. It was just like a pastries business. And when she decided to sell in 2009, I believe it was, I was gonna go out on my own, but she's like, well, why don't you just stay with me and just keep going a little bit. But then my dad decided that he'd take matters into his own hands and buy the business behind the bookstore. And he bought the business behind the bookstore and basically told me, this is yours, make it work. I mean, he helps me every day, but he basically gave it to me, and well, he didn't give it to me. I have had to work for it.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
And so we decided, after they told us they were expanding the bookstore and didn't need us anymore, we would move to a different place. We bought a building over here on Broadway, and it's a gorgeous space. I love the building. And we've been there in that space for 2.5 years, but we've been open for 3 years and this month.
Now, is that 302 or 304 North Broadway?
302 North Broadway.
302 North Broadway.
Yeah.
And of course, when I first came to town, that was Barb's Deli,
Barb's
right?
Deli. Yeah. In fact, she comes in and she's just a really sweet lady.
Yes, she is. Yeah.
I think moving kind of changed some things for her, but I think sometimes when people think, oh, I need to move to get bigger, I like where I am, and people say, oh, you need a bigger space. I go, well, I don't want a bigger space because I love my building so much, and just the atmosphere that it gives. There's a few things that I'd like to change, but don't we all have things we need to change? But that's how I got to where I am.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of exciting that first of all, you found your passion, and what's interesting is I find that, and I see this with some of my own children, finding young people that have a passion and being able to follow that passion, and some kids just don't develop a passion until later in life. But it's really neat that you did, and you brought it back to Abilene. And there are lots of kids who grew up locally that leave and learn a trade or something, and then get a degree, and then they come back for whatever the reason is. And of course, my wife has done that. So.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's very commendable. So what are you talk about the downtown space, which is perfect for your business. What are some of the challenges you see being a small business owner in downtown?
Well, it seems like every town, they start out with a downtown. We obviously know this because A Street used to be the downtown, right. And then it moved up, and it feels like it's moving up again. But we're trying to keep it. We're pulling more people in, and we're trying to keep people downtown. The hardest part is bringing people from uptown downtown to say, hey, there's food down here. We have 3 restaurants downtown. I know that's not as many as there used to be, but there's still lots of different choices to choose from. And I think and the building structures, I know a lot of other people are having issues with their buildings because of the way that the bricks were made.
Right.
I've heard stories. We had to do some repairs on our building because of the way that they were made. The sandstone bricks are just crumbling.
Right.
We are hoping that that's one of the few things that we have to do. Maybe in the next couple of years, we'll probably have to do more.
Sure.
But that's just the basic kind of worry.
And it is basic worry, but it's also something that's a function of a lack of maintenance over 120 years in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And you look at modern architecture. It's built to be torn down,
right,
and put back up. And I think Sonic is a great example. I mean, it's awesome that Sonic, scraped it off and put it up in basically 2 weeks, and they were back up and running, which is that's pretty neat. But one of the things about downtown spaces I find personally is apart from the maintenance, and making up for years of lack of maintenance. Is that there's some of probably the more flexible spaces out there for small businesses, right, and more affordable spaces.
Oh, definitely. You're not going to spend.
Yeah.
Uptown is like, I've heard hundreds of thousands of dollars for a space and to build something. So why not keep it downtown and, spend maybe $100,000 if that on a building.
So if you're a small business starting out, sometimes downtown's I like to think of it as an incubator for some of the local businesses, and
there's so much potential.
Yeah, some grow and move out of their space, some grow and take in other spaces, some move uptown. But that's it definitely serves a purpose in the community, and it's probably true for all the communities in our listening area, our watching area. It's probably the same situation. So that's very good. So are there any future plans for the business? I know you just kind of talked about sometimes not having plans is a good plan.
Right. Well, I've been working with a couple other ladies we do wedding cakes. I'm not big on wedding cakes. They are a little bit stressful because of the bride has certain expectations and the decorations. I love to bake, so we worked it out to where I bake, and then I have another lady who helps me decorate. And she does a wonderful job. She's been decorating for 35 years. She kind of knows what she's doing. And she's kind of helps me make decisions. Doesn't have a storefront or anything, but she's been, like I said, been doing cakes for 35 years, and she kind of knows the business, and kind of leaning on her right now. And hopefully, I don't know that we'll have any other big plans. And there's always things in the back of my mind, but I guess I need to sit down and work on a new goal, because you get to a point where it's like, well, I'm here, so what's next? I haven't really thought about it yet. I've been really busy, so it's kind of hard to think about your next goal. I've been the president of the Abilene Downtown Association, which is no longer a dues membership. It's just all volunteer basis, whatever, if you want to donate or something. But we are doing a couple events to where that'll hopefully pull more people in downtown, and I'm help with that. So that's kind of keeping me busy. We're working on one for June in conjunction with the D-Day things down at the Eisenhower Center.
Yeah, and it was interesting talking off camera prior to recording here. You were kind of talking about how you go into a business because of your passion, but then you you find that when your passion is trying to make you a living,
right,
you end up spending more time on things that are more profitable for the business, but maybe not what got you into the business in the first place.
You think you're gonna be able to make money off of just scones, or cinnamon rolls, but that's not the case. When you add things into your business, which then it gets kind of stretches you thin, but when you add like sandwiches and things like that, then that helps you drive your
a little diversity
your sales.
on the menu.
Diversity.
It helps bring people
and
in
the funny thing is, I do have breakfast sandwiches also, and that helps with the profit and things, but.
The breakfast burritos are really good, by the way. I just thought I'd let you know that.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm also very partial to, you know what I like.
Beer Rocks?
Beer Rocks.
I
like the Beer Rocks at Amanda's.
I'm pretty famous for Beer Rocks, and so famous that sometimes I can't keep them in stock. Mm-hmm. But right now I have them. So
well, there you go. You better rush down to Amanda's and get one of those, because
we might not have them. We're also going to an event next Friday up in Clay Center, the KCLY Radio Fair, and we'll be there with Beer Rocks.
Oh, very good. Well, I know we've got some folks that watch from up in that area, so maybe we'll see some of them there.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. So I'm back on the topic of entrepreneurship and being a young person. Do you have any advice, let's say, or things that that can maybe little tidbits and nuggets of wisdom that you could pass on?
Well, I'm just a newbie. 3 years seems like a long time, but it's really not. It's a really short time for people who've been in business for a long time. But I think oh gosh, this is a hard question. Just make sure that you don't stretch yourself so thin that you forget about making sure you take care of your customers. They come first. And unfortunately, I'm a people pleaser, and sometimes I get really upset with myself because I don't get something done. But they are usually pretty understanding. They say, it's okay, you have other things to choose from.
Yeah.
They prefer a gooey bar, but if I don't have it, then they'll get something else, because they understand that but we always have gooey bars, so it's not that big of a deal. The Beer Rocks, that's one thing. If I don't have, I can have this sandwich today. They're usually pretty understanding. Mm-hmm. But just make sure that you don't stretch yourself so thin that you can't get everything done, and just make sure you focus on the customer and making sure that they're happy, because that's how you pay your bills.
Yeah.
That's the number one.
And one of the biggest challenges to small businesses is that when do you decide to hire that other person,
right?
And making that jump, because that's a very stressful jump.
Yes, it is.
But sometimes it's one that
it's worth it.
It's absolutely necessary, worth it. And is that a part-time job, or is it a full-time job, because I need somebody who can do so many things. Right. And then all the taxes and payroll, all the other things that get wrapped into that can be open up a whole new can of worms for a business owner.
Well, I got some good advice from I'm sure you all know her, Lorraine McLean. Mm-hmm. She told me, she goes, make sure that you hire people to take care of what needs done, and you do it. You're good at it.
Right.
And then you hire somebody else to do what they are good at. So then you all have your own thing, and you're not all spread too thin.
Right.
And that'll help you in the long run. So I'm thinking, because she's doing, she does well, that she's probably got good advice there.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a conversation my wife and I have around the island in the kitchen frequently, because.
Well, I should come join and have a cup of coffee.
Well, we could. Yeah. Actually, you've borrowed coffee from me in the past.
Right. So have I not paid that?
Yeah, I think you did, in kind, several times over. So that's wonderful.
Just kidding.
Yeah. So. I guess you mentioned the Downtown Abilene Association, which has been around probably 10 years or so. and I know they've been involved in bringing events downtown and planning events. Are there any of those in the future, and do they really kind of introduce new customers to your business, or how successful are they?
Well, in the past have been very successful. Unfortunately, in the past couple of years, they've kind of declined. But we are this year, Cypress Bridge, Emmy and all the ladies over there, Sharon and Angie, are working on the Midsummer's Nights. Well, we're calling it Nights and Tales this year, just for a change. And it's going to be the first week in June, that Thursday. And they are doing a really good job of putting that together. And I think this year it's going to be really, really good. And I'm also helping with it, but they're doing the bulk of it because they've just kind of taken it on. And but I think it'll be good this year. I'm not sure. We were hoping to do another talent contest and a costume contest and some other things. And then we're going to do, we haven't got to they've been doing the 5-Star Art Festival they've been talking about doing, and that will be in the fall. We're not doing as many events that we've done in the past, only because we're not a dues. We're just, we rely on sponsorship from local businesses. But if we can get everybody, all the businesses, just to help out just a little bit, it really helps in the long run. And we have a lot of really good sponsors that help with events like that.
Sure.
Those are the only two as of right now. But I'm hoping that we get a few more. We had Oktoberfest, but it kind of dwindled. But potentially, but because of the 5-Star Art Festival, we probably won't do that this year. We're hoping to make that a big thing, kind of like the River Festival in
Right.
Salina.
Well, I've kind of organized some events in the past downtown, and it's hard. You kind of reach a point where, at what point do we invest more to make it grow,
right,
versus, you kind of plateau out sometimes, and that's unfortunate, and how small towns can get over that is kind of a challenge.
But then there's but we also have the Night of Christmas Magic in December,
right,
and that's a huge. So we have 3 large events that we do. Yeah, and it's very, it's a really good night. We hope it brings people in from all over, and I think with having it in conjunction with the Homes Tour, it really boosts.
Been a good thing.
As long as the weather's good. Sometimes it's not good.
Well, and you bring that up because I think weather is a major factor, because I think some of the Midsummer Night Dreams that have gone
been very hot.
Have been very, very hot.
Yeah, and that's one reason why we moved it to June, beginning of June,
right,
even though it doesn't make sense. But
right, relative.
But we are doing it in June because of hopefully it'll be less hot.
Yeah.
Not as hot.
Well, one of the real interesting things about events and retail, tying it together, is that, and weather in particular, is that malls used to have events.
Right.
And of course the last probably 15 years, the trends have been that malls are closing, or they're being redeveloped into some completely different format, and so it's kind of interesting to see that evolution of retail, and it's if you go like Zona Rosa in North Kansas City, it's a mall that tries to look like a downtown, and which is to me is like, wow, well, just go to downtown, and open your business, and and I presume that parking is probably the biggest issue, and what's really interesting psychologically. If I park 3 blocks away from a store downtown, I think it's a lot further than if I'm in row 70 at Walmart. When actually row 70 at Walmart is a lot further to the front door. So it's a psychological thing. Not that parking isn't an issue in downtowns. They usually are.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's probably, I don't know, is there anything else you want to add to the conversation? And
I don't think so.
No rah, rah, rah downtown, let's go.
Yeah, everybody come downtown. We would love to have you.
Yeah, there's a pretty good diversity of businesses down there, and you mentioned a couple other restaurants that are still in the area. And I think it would be wonderful if you take the time to come downtown Abilene or downtown Clay Center or whichever town you're in, and get to know some of the businesses and stop in.
Shop local.
Some that you haven't been in local, shop local, which is oftentimes a Chamber of Commerce slogan of some sorts.
Yep.
So, anyway, this is something I think we can all do just to get, refamiliarize ourselves with our downtowns and support some of our local businesses that are hiring local people, and most of the money stays local. It's not filtered out as quickly as it would be if you buy from a large chain. So anyway, I greatly appreciate your time watching today, and I want to thank Amanda.
Thank you
For coming over. And this is, once again, the mocha is awesome. The beer rocks are awesome. So stop by Amanda's Bakery and say hi. And this has been Our Town. I'm James Holland with Black & Company Realtors here in downtown Abilene. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.